There is a fear older than humanity itself, a fear that does not come from the monsters of our imagination, but from the very planet we inhabit. It is the fear of the vast, the dark, the deep, the fear of what lies beneath the surface, in the crushing pressure and the absolute, eternal darkness. It is called thalassophobia, the fear of deep dark water. But why are we a species that has conquered the land and touched the stars, still so profoundly terrified of the ocean's depths? What is it about that inky blackness that speaks to such a primal part of our soul? This is not a documentary about sharks or sea monsters. This is a deep, psychological autopsy of a fear that is wired into our very DNA. We will dissect the evolutionary roots of our terror, explore the real-life horrors that lurk in the abyss, and uncover the anatomy of a dread that connects every single one of us. Prepare yourself. We are about to stare into the abyss, and see what stares back. To understand our fear of the deep, we must travel back millions of years, long before we were human. We must look at our distant land-dwelling ancestors. For them, the world was divided into two distinct realms: the familiar, solid ground beneath their feet, and the great, shimmering unknown of the water's edge. The land, for all its dangers, was a known quantity. They understood its rules, its predators, its hiding places. But the water, the water was another dimension. It was an alien world with its own set of rules, and they were not designed for it. We are creatures of light and air. The deep ocean is a realm of darkness and crushing pressure. Our senses, which are so perfectly adapted for survival on the savannah, are rendered almost useless the moment we dip beneath the surface. Our eyes cannot penetrate the gloom. Our ears are disoriented. We are clumsy, slow, and profoundly vulnerable. From a psychological perspective, thalassophobia is not an irrational fear. It is a perfectly rational evolutionary echo, a ghost in our genes. For millions of years, our ancestors learned a simple and brutal lesson. Those who were cautious of the deep, dark water were the ones who survived to pass on their genes. Those who ventured too far, too carelessly, were often taken by the unseen predators that lurked just beyond the shore. This ancient survival instinct is still wired into the deepest, most primal part of our brain, the amygdala. This is our fear processing center. It does not operate on logic or reason. It operates on ancient, inherited memory. When you stand at the edge of a deep, dark lake or the open ocean and feel that sudden jolt of anxiety, that vertigo-like pull of the abyss, that is your evolutionary past whispering a warning. It is the collective memory of a million generations, all screaming the same timeless message. You do not belong here. This is not your world. And you do not know what is watching you from below. This is the foundation of our dread. It is not a fear we learn. It is a fear we are born with. It is the profound, biological recognition that we are trespassing in a world where we are no longer at the top of the food chain. Evolutionary explanation for thalassophobia is powerful, but it doesn't fully capture the sheer gut-level dread that this fear evokes. It's not just a rational understanding of our vulnerability in an alien environment. It's something deeper, something almost mystical. Think about it. The deep ocean is the last truly unexplored frontier on our planet. We have mapped the surface of Mars in greater detail than we have the abyssal plains of our own world. What lies down there, in the crushing darkness miles beneath the surface, remains largely unknown. This vast, unexplored realm fuels our imagination, and often, our darkest fears. From a psychological perspective, the deep ocean can be seen as a metaphor for the unconscious mind itself. A vast, unknowable realm filled with hidden depths and tenside potential dangers. Just as we can never fully grasp the totality of our own unconscious, we can never truly know what lurks in the deepest parts of the sea. This inherent uncertainty is a powerful trigger for anxiety. Our minds abhor a vacuum, and when faced with the unknown, they often fill it with our worst imaginings. This is where the folklore and mythology surrounding the sea come into play. For millennia, cultures around the world have told tales of colossal sea monsters, of vengeful gods dwelling in underwater palaces, and of ships swallowed whole by the unforgiving depths. These stories, passed down through generations, tap into our primal fear of the ocean, amplifying it and giving it monstrous form. The kraken, leviathan, the serpent Jarmanganda, these are not just fantastical creatures, they are physical manifestations of our deep-seated unease with the power and mystery of the ocean. Furthermore, the unique sensory deprivation of the deep sea can trigger profound psychological distress. The lack of light, the muffled sounds, the feeling of being completely surrounded by an alien medium. It can lead to a sense of isolation and vulnerability that is unlike anything else on Earth. Divers who venture into the abyss often report a feeling of being watched, a sense of an unseen presence in the darkness. This is not necessarily a belief in literal monsters. It is the mind struggling to make sense of an environment where our normal sensory inputs are drastically reduced, leading to a heightened state of anxiety and paranoia. Thalassophobia, therefore, is more than just a fear of drowning or of specific marine creatures. It is a fear of the void itself, of the immense, crushing nothingness that lies beneath the surface. It is a fear of the unknown, amplified by our evolutionary history, our cultural narratives, and the unique psychological challenges of the deep ocean. It is the call of the void, echoing from the deepest parts of our planet and the deepest parts of our minds. The fear of the deep is not just a product of our imagination. The truth is, there are monsters in the abyss. They may not be the krakens and leviathans of ancient myth, but the real creatures that inhabit the deep ocean are, in many ways, far stranger and more terrifying than anything our ancestors could have ever conceived. This is not folklore, this is biology. Let us descend into the midnight zone, a realm 1,000 meters below the surface where the last photons of sunlight die, and a world of absolute, eternal darkness begins. The pressure here is immense, over 100 times that at the surface, a crushing force that would instantly turn a human being into a pulp. The water is near freezing. It is the most hostile environment on Earth, and yet, it is teeming with life. A life that has evolved under such extreme conditions that it looks to us like the stuff of nightmares. This is the world of bioluminescence, the living light. In the absence of the sun, life has learned to create its own. We see the haunting, ethereal glow of the anglerfish, a creature that dangles a luminous, fleshy lure from its head, a single point of hypnotic beauty in the darkness, designed to draw its unsuspecting prey directly towards a gaping mouth filled with needle-sharp, translucent teeth. We encounter the goblin shark, a living fossil with a pale, almost pinkish skin and a bizarre elongated snout. When it attacks, its entire jaw rockets forward from its skull, a grotesque and terrifying mechanism that seems to defy the laws of anatomy. We see the viperfish with fangs so long they cannot fit inside its own mouth, curving back towards its eyes. And then there are the giants, creatures that have grown to colossal sizes in the cold, dark depths. The giant squid, a creature of myth, that was only first filmed in its natural habitat in the 21st century, a beast with eyes the size of dinner plates, and tentacles lined with toothed suckers, locked in an eternal, deep-sea war with the only creature that preys upon it, the sperm whale. These are not monsters because they are evil. They are monsters because they are a reflection of a world that is completely, fundamentally alien to our own. They have evolved in a realm without light, without warmth, and without mercy. Their strange, terrifying forms are a perfect and logical response to the brutal physics of the deep sea. The true dread of these real-life monsters is what they represent. They are a humbling reminder that we are not the masters of this planet. They prove that there are entire ecosystems, vast and ancient worlds, that exist completely outside of our understanding and our control. The fear of what lies beneath is not just a fear of being eaten, it is the deep, philosophical fear of our own insignificance in the face of a planet that is far older, far larger, and far stranger than we can ever fully comprehend. The fear of the deep is not just a fear of the creatures that live there. It is also a fear of the silence, of the pressure, of a place where our technology and our ambitions are rendered meaningless. The ocean is the world's largest graveyard, and it is filled with the ghosts of our own creation. Every shipwreck is a story, a testament to a moment when human ingenuity was defeated by the overwhelming power of the sea, and each one adds a new, modern layer to our ancient, primal fear. Think of the Titanic. It was more than just a ship, it was a symbol of human confidence, a promise of a new, unsinkable age. Its sinking in 1912 was a profound psychological shock to the world. The story that haunts us is not just the loss of life, but the slow 2-hour descent from a world of light, warmth and order into the freezing, chaotic darkness of the abyss. The terror of the Titanic is the terror of a sanctuary being violated. The chilling proof that even our greatest achievements can be swallowed whole by the indifferent, black water. The wreck itself, lying 2.5 miles down, is a permanent, ghostly monument to our hubris. Or consider the great naval battles of our history. The battleship Bismarck, the pride of the German Navy, a seemingly invincible fortress of steel, was crippled and sent to the bottom of the Atlantic during World War II. The wreck, discovered in 1989, sits upright on the seabed, almost perfectly preserved, its great guns still pointing at a silent, unseen enemy. It is a ghost of a violent past, a chilling reminder that the ocean is the ultimate victor in all our wars. But perhaps the most personal and terrifying of these stories are the ones involving submarines. A submarine is a machine designed to conquer the abyss, to live and fight within the very environment that we fear. But when something goes wrong, that machine becomes a steel coffin. The story of the USS Thresher, a state-of-the-art nuclear submarine that imploded during a deep-sea dive in 1963, is a perfect anatomy of this specific dread. The final, garbled radio transmissions from the sub, which spoke of a minor difficulty, followed by the sound of the hull collapsing under the immense pressure, is the stuff of technological nightmares. These are not ancient myths, they are real, documented events. Each one is a story of a small, man-made world of light and air being violently extinguished and then consumed by the vast, silent darkness. The dread of thalassophobia is constantly being reinforced by these modern tragedies. The ocean is not just a place where ancient monsters live, it is a place where our own modern monsters, our own failed technologies, go to die. The abyss is not just staring back at us with an ancient, biological eye, it is staring back at us with the dead, silent portholes of our own sunken ships. Thalassophobia is a powerful and often unsettling fear, one that speaks to the very core of our being. It is a reminder of our vulnerability, our insignificance in the face of the natural world, and the vast, unknowable depths that lie just beyond our familiar shores. It is a fear that has been shaped by millions of years of evolution, amplified by our myths and legends, and tragically reinforced by our own history on the water. From a psychological perspective, it is important to acknowledge that fear, in its proper context, is a survival mechanism. Our apprehension about the deep ocean has likely kept countless individuals safe throughout human history. It is the extreme, irrational manifestation of this fear that can become debilitating. And yet, despite this profound dread, humanity has always been drawn to the ocean. We explore it, we sail across it, we even attempt to conquer its deepest reaches in submersibles. There is a strange duality in our relationship with the sea, a deep-seated fear intertwined with an equally powerful sense of wonder and curiosity. Perhaps this is because the ocean, in its vastness and mystery, also holds the promise of discovery. It is a realm of incredible biodiversity, of geological wonders, and of secrets that have remained hidden for millennia. The same darkness that terrifies us also conceals beauty beyond our imagination. Living with thalassophobia, for those who experience it, is often about acknowledging and respecting that primal fear without allowing it to control your life. It's about understanding its roots, recognizing its triggers, and finding ways to coexist with the knowledge of what lies beneath. Ultimately, the fear of deep, dark water is a fundamental part of the human experience. It is a testament to the power of the natural world and the limits of our understanding. It reminds us that there are still vast, unexplored realms on our own planet, places where we are not the dominant species, places where the abyss continues to stare back, challenging our courage and fueling our deepest anxieties. And perhaps, in that fear, there is also a sense of awe, a recognition of the immense power and enduring mystery of the ocean that surrounds us all, even here in Thalassophobia, so far from its shores. The call of the deep continues to echo in our collective unconscious, a primal reminder of the unseen world that lies just beneath the surface of our own